Hey, what's up my hoopers, it's your boy Crunch Time back with another video. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Orlando Magic, assessing how their roster is constructed, and delving into why I think they're the best young team in the entire NBA. But before we get into all that, I just want to take a moment to thank y'all for 100 subscribers, man. We did it, y'all. In the grand scheme of things, it might not seem like a major milestone, but this for real means everything to me, you guys. So I just want to take some time out of the video to tell y'all from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for 100 subs. But with that being said, this is only the beginning. The original goal was 100 subs by the end of August, but since y'all are so amazing, we hit that goal with like 90% of August left. So now the next goal is 200 subs by the end of August. I know it's a bit ambitious, but let's see if we can make it happen. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button to join the gang, and like this video if you want more of this kind of content. But with that being said, let's jump right into this video. In the past decade, the Orlando Magic have had more top 10 picks in the draft than any other team in the entire NBA. Despite this fact, they have maintained a level of mediocrity, especially in the time since Dwight Howard left, as they've only made the playoffs twice and won a grand total of 2 games since his departure in 2012. And it's kind of sad given that they've drafted somewhat decently, picking up players such as Victor Oladipo, Aaron Gordon, and Domantas Sabonis in previous drafts. However, due to squandered draft talent, bad trading decisions, and some admittedly pretty bad injury luck, the Orlando Magic found themselves at the bottom of the conference yet again last season, finishing with a disappointing record of 22-60, the second worst in the entire league. However, I think that over the past couple of seasons, the Orlando Magic have constructed a promising and exciting young core that could be ready to contend for a play-in spot as early as this season, and could possibly even be serious title contenders a few years down the line. Looking at the Magic's roster now, they have a plethora of young talent. Their first great drafting decision that kind of kicked off this whole rebuilding process for them was their selection of Jonathan Isaac in the 2017 NBA draft. Now, while there were still players on the board that turned out to be arguably better talents than Isaac, mainly Bam Adebayo, Donovan Mitchell, and Kyle Kuzma, just kidding about Kyle Kuzma by the way, the selection of Jonathan Isaac was still a really good pickup for the team, as he has come in and provided the Magic with great defense, making a name for himself as one of the best defenders in the entire league. He was sidelined last season due to ACL and hamstring injuries, but I do expect him to come back next season and still be really good on that end of the court. Another solid draft pickup has been Cole Anthony, who's been a pretty alright starting point guard for the team in Fultz's absence, although I expect him to take a bit of a backseat to Fultz when he returns, serving as a solid offensive spark plug off the bench. In the same vein is Jalen Suggs, who the Magic acquired with the 5th pick in the 2021 draft. While there were definitely better players below Suggs, and while he did admittedly struggle in his rookie season, I still haven't fully given up on him yet, and think that he could develop into a solid piece in the Magic rotation, showing flashes of his potential at various points throughout last season. With Suggs, Anthony, and Fultz on the team, the Magic have a pretty solid young backcourt rotation. Speaking of which though, one of the best moves that the Magic have made in recent years was the decision to take a chance on the Philadelphia 76ers 2017 number 1 overall pick, Markelle Fultz, who at the time many claimed to be a bust. And while he certainly hasn't lived up to his expectations as a number 1 overall draft pick, in big part due to injuries, Markelle Fultz's career has been seemingly revived in Orlando. In the 18 games he played in the 2021-22 NBA season, Fultz showed flashes of what he could be, showing off a solid mid-range game and incredible finishing ability. He averaged a really efficient 11 points per game and 5.5 assists per game in only 20 minutes a night, which translates to a PPG of 19.5 and 10 assists per 36. So while it is on a relatively small sample size, as he was kept out for most of last season with an ACL injury, Markelle Fultz is looking like he's going to be a really prominent part of this Magic rotation. Another great decision by the Magic's front office was to move on from Nikola Vucevic, a move that really signified that the Orlando Magic were going to seriously start focusing on rebuilding, as the teams that they were constructing around Nikola Vucevic just weren't going to get very far at all, and especially considering Vucevic was getting up there in age, it just made sense for the Magic to trade him. When they moved him to Chicago, they got Wendell Carter Jr. back in return, who so far has looked really, really good in Orlando. He's been incredibly solid on the defensive end of the court, providing some really good paint protection while also showing the ability to switch onto and keep up with slightly smaller players. Additionally, he's shown that he's more than capable offensively, averaging an efficient 15 points per game while also displaying his ability to stretch the floor a bit with his pretty impressive three-point shooting ability for a center. However, the two aspects of this roster that are probably the most exciting are the additions of Franz Wagner and Paolo Banchero. Starting with Franz Wagner, he was, in my opinion, the most criminally underrated rookie in last year's draft class. He arrived in Orlando and had an immediate impact, contributing in basically every area of the game. His decision making is top notch as he displayed his tight handle and elite playmaking ability, conducting the Orlando offense throughout the entirety of last season. He also showed that he could put the ball in the basket with the best of them, averaging the second most points per game among all rookies last season at 15.2, on the best efficiency out of all rookies last season, shooting 47% from the field and 35% from three. He's also shown himself to be a solid and active contributor on the defensive side of the ball. At a height of 6'9", Wagner's versatility makes him a great player for the Magic to build around moving forward. And then there's, of course, the most recent addition to the roster, the first overall pick in the 2022 NBA Draft, Paolo Banchero, who really just pulls the entire roster together. Banchero was looked at as the most NBA-ready prospect in this draft class, and he only further backed up this narrative with his impressive performances in the Summer League. While I know it is just the Summer League, and we can't judge too much of a player's game off of just these games, especially since they're a small sample size against worse competition, Banchero looked really polished, showing off a tight handle, elite shot-making ability, and extremely solid playmaking ability at a height of 6'10". Overall, he always seemed like the best player on the court in every single game he played, and I'm really excited to see him on this Orlando roster moving forward next season. My predicted starting lineup for the Magic this season is Markelle Fultz, Jalen Suggs if and when he's healthy, Franz Wagner, Paolo Banchero, and Wendell Carter Jr. This starting lineup has a really good blend of offense and defense. I also think that the cutting and playmaking dynamic between Franz and Banchero will elevate this team further and will be really exciting to watch. I think something that the Orlando Magic have been missing, especially since Vucevic's departure, was a solid number one scoring option, and I think that Banchero will fit that role really nicely and elevate this team to new heights. Another lineup that I think would be really interesting to see on the court will be a lineup of Fultz at the 1, Wagner at the 2, Jonathan Isaac at the 3, and then Banchero and Wendell Carter in the front court. I think that Wagner, even though he's 6'9", could definitely run the 2 with his ball handling and shot making abilities, and Isaac also brings a lot more defense to the table. This lineup would honestly be a lot for any offense to handle. Overall, I could see them flirting with being a top 10 offense and a top 10 defense next year. Then when you consider that the Magic have some really solid supporting pieces such as Gary Harris, Terrence Ross, Mo Wagner, Mo Bamba, Chuma Okeke, and RJ Hampton, the prospect of this team competing for a playoff spot becomes pretty likely. They've honestly got it all: scoring, playmaking, shot creation, spacing, defense, depth, and flexibility. They're just a really young roster and will need a couple years to develop a bit more as individual players and gain more experience and chemistry playing together. I feel pretty confident saying that given a couple more years of experience, the Orlando Magic could very easily be competing for their first ever NBA championship. With that being said, thank you so much for watching this video, you guys. If you made it this far, comment #MagicGotNext to let me know that you made it. Also, let me know what you think of the Magic's young core and how good you think they could potentially be in a couple years down the line. Again, if you like this video, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more content like this. Again, we're now trying to hit 200 subs by the end of August, so subscription would be greatly appreciated. But with that being said, you guys, thank you again so much for 100 subscribers. It's been your boy Crunch Time, and I'll see you next time. Peace.